Hello everyone. I've made this short video to run you through some of the tools and applications of my chosen digital program SpatialGenie, which I found on the website, educational website Scootle. Let's log in. Now, as you can see, when you first log in, it looks a lot like the interface for Google Earth or Google Maps. But it has some added functions and tools that make it really interesting to use. One of the main differences is you can add uh, layers to the interface. There's a data catalog of layers you can add. And these, so you've got major Australian railways, Australian roads, Australian waterways, vegetation at different points in history, the paths of different cyclones, earthquakes, volcanoes all over the world. Got historical maps which are really, really interesting. You got coral reefs, major lakes, major rivers, 1,000 largest cities, country borders, urban areas. Now, all of these maps come from quite reputable sources. For example, Geoscience Australia, which is part of the federal government. Got the National Library of Australia. Got Natural Earth, which is quite a reputable mapping organisation. So let's put a couple of these on and see what happens. Now what happens is if you click on any of these layers, they actually superimpose on top of the existing interface. For example, 1,000 largest cities, there you go, they superimpose onto the site. Country borders. Well, that was already there. Vegetation, 1788. So this actually shows you the vegetation levels in pre-colonial Australia. And then if you turn that off and turn on the vegetation levels for 1988, it'll show you post-colonial vegetation and obviously how it's changed. So the plan for the town of Melbourne again superimposes directly onto the interface. So they're exactly as advertised, they're just layers that go onto the existing map. So as you can see, you get this is really interesting. It superimposes one of the original town plans for Melbourne onto the map itself. So you can see exactly how Melbourne has changed in almost 200 years, 150 years, and how it stayed the same. As you can see, it was always designed to be quite grid-like. Another thing that's interesting about these is you can use them in tandem. So it's the urban area of Melbourne. But if you put on vegetation 1988, it also has that as well. Or if you put on 1,000 largest cities and urban areas, it will show you the urban areas of any of those cities that you've chosen. such as Jakarta. There you go. So any of these can be used in tandem. Other interesting things that you can do with this website is obviously you can change it to satellite, a lot like Google Earth, or terrain, just gives you elevated areas, etc. Another thing that you can do with this site is it's good for measuring distance. For example, the distance from my house in Park Street to Melbourne Zoo is 1,301 meters or 1.3 kilometers. Or you can zoom right out and, for example, measure the distance between Geelong and Hobart, 579 kilometers. It's not a straight line either. So if you go Melbourne, Sunbury, and then down to Little River, and then up again to Greendale, it'll give you the sum total. You can also measure in areas squared. Or a circle area. There you go. The last thing I want to show you is that SpatialGenie actually allows you to interact with the map in terms of ways you can actually mark the map. So it allows you to add your own points to the map. So I'll add a house marker here, my house in Park Street. Or I'll add a line that shows my house and how you get to Moonee Racecourse from my house. So choose blue, bang, along Park Street, and then up to Brunswick Road, and along Brunswick Road, this street here, to Moonee Valley Racecourse. So you can add routes, you know, anything you want. These toggles, you can add an address. So here's my house. There it is. Or you can have a street view. So you can have the street view on the side which is helpful. Means you don't have to click out of the main interface to have the street view on the side. Make it bigger. Expand it if you want. Great, so that were just a few of the main features of SpatialGenie. Thank you for watching.